Hello and welcome to Advanced AI Techniques for Grant Seeking, Enhancing Search and Assessments. I'm Dr. Krista Kurlink, creator of Grant Writing Made Easy, Grant Writing Boss Club, and Grant Writing Made Easier. And I'm really here today to answer one question, which is once you collect award history from grants databases, how do you use it for assessment? So here's what we typically get when we are using grants databases to pull a grant maker's award history, for grants that we believe we or our clients are eligible for. So this is an example of the type of data that you will get from GrantStation. Pretty basic, total annual giving and a grant range. If you want further information, you have to go look in the 990s, or if they have a grants awarded list on the funder website, you can go there. Not exactly a lot of info. Instrumental is more robust, and I know Candid's foundation directory is also more robust. I've tested that. But there is a ton of data inside of Instrumental. If anybody here has used it before, it goes far beyond what I'm showing here. And so once you have that data, all you can really do with it is export it as funder insights. So they have a report section on Instrumental where you can then say, for this specific project, which, we do it by client, I want to see all of the funder data for that project. But really, once you do that, all you get is total assets, total giving, average grant amount, and median grant amount. But we know Instrumental is much more robust, as is Foundation Directory. And so what we do is we get in there and type, and fill out that CSV or spreadsheet with all of this data that Instrumental gives us. So openness to new grantees, median amount to first-time grantees, average amount to first-time grantees, total number of awards, total years counted, total number of awards in our state or client's state. We do also do all of these other ones as well. So we're looking at things like percentage of total awards in our state, number of grant codes for all relevant NTEE codes. So those NTE codes are how Instrumental organizes the data and categorizes everything. So we try to match ours up with what is most relevant in there. And then we look at even median amount, total amount of grants. And even though we're not using that in this part of the analysis I'm going to show you today, we use that later. Then we also go down into the NTE subcode, because NTE also has subcodes. So how they categorize the type of work you're doing, you may be in arts and culture, but within the subcode, you fall under like museums, for example. So we get down into the subcodes as well to get all of the relevant data. It does take some time, might take a couple hours to get all of this if you have, let's say, 50 grant opportunities, but it all is worth it. Let me tell you why here in a second. Next, we add our qualitative alignment assessment to that spreadsheet that has a whole column. So we're reading things like the database's funder profile and their website and notes on how we arrived at that assessment. We put all of that in there, and then we assign it a grade of A, B, or C. Now, here comes the fun part. This is what this spreadsheet looks like, but you can't assign much worth to this. We're still just relying on our human computation, which is going to be very imperfect, right? To decide, okay, based on all of these numbers, which one of these should we suggest our client put all of their efforts into applying for? So now we use ChatGPT 4o to help us process this massive amount of data. Now, I want to tell you right now, as of recording this, I encourage you to use 4o. Right now, O1 and O3 cannot perform the analyses I'm going to show you or even process document uploads. I know I tried it this morning. So what you're going to do is you're going to take that Excel spreadsheet, however you downloaded it, you need to save it as a CSV. You're going to put that into your ChatGPT chat with a little arrow button in the chat. And then you're going to give it this prompt. Please use a weighted scoring model to calculate the likelihood of receiving an award. And then the instructions express as a percentage using the following weighted approach. Now you can assign your own amounts. I assign these, and I'll also provide this prompt for you all after this, so you can just copy and paste it. But we give it 20% weight to total award amount by NTE code, 20% by total number of grants awarded by NTE code, 10% of total awards in our state, 20% openness to new grantees, 20% total award amount by NTE subcode, 5% total number of grants awarded by NTE subcode. And then I think the next one here is 5% total amount awarded by NTE subcode. So we have both number and amount. I just forgot to put that in there. So here's what you're going to get from ChatGPT. And this is going to pop up right in the screen. It's not a download, but you can download this if you press that little download button there. It's going to give you the likelihood of award, and it's not going to be like 95%, things like that. You're going to have to rank them and figure out, okay, I'm not saying this is necessarily because it's 6%, you shouldn't go after it, but we use this more as a ranking system. And what I do to make that even easier, which you can do it by sorting the spreadsheet, once you download it, but you can also just say, hey, ChatGPT, now take your weighted approach assessment and rank each funder in order of most likely to be awarded to least likely to be awarded, to even take that off your plate as well. Yeah, so you just go up here to download table and it will do that for you. And the behind the scenes process, if you're looking at this and you're like, oh, you're just putting percentages with things, can't you just do that on your own? It's actually quite a bit more complicated than that, and I'm not a mathematician. So when I asked ChatGPT to explain this process, and I worked with it for a while to design the exact process and weight that we use for each of these categories, it said, okay, here's what we did. You provided a list of metrics that influence the likelihood of securing a grant with assigned weights. Then here's what it does on the back end. It cleans the data. It's converting monetary values and percentages to numeric data. It handles missing values. It then normalizes the data with these formulas and makes it more comparable across different types of metrics. Because, I had percentages, I had total amounts awarded, all these different things. Then it applies the weighted scoring model. And I don't know about you, but I can't do this calculation. So that's why I'm using ChatGPT to do it. And why this approach works, this method ensures that more influential factors have a greater impact on the final score. Metrics with different scales don't disproportionately affect results thanks to normalization. And the final ranking then provides a clear data-driven assessment of which funders are most likely to award grants, matching it up with your state. Whether you're a first-time grantee can be a factor as well, and your NTE code or NTE subcode, matching the ones that have been, most awarded, or whatever percentage of award that is. So all of this for us, we pair with our qualitative assessment and we say, okay, this ranks this very, very high in terms of the data analytics, but maybe it doesn't quite align as well in the mission as something else. So we're not going to scrap that other one that was ranked lower with the data, but we might say we'll apply for it, but we're not going to spend quite as much time on it as we would have if it had a higher ranking. So it's an iterative process. We have to work with our clients to make sure that everything lines up with their experience as well, in the past applying with different grant makers, because sometimes, of course, they have insider information we don't. But overall, this process has totally revolutionized how we do our grant search and strategy, and then our annual strategy for our clients and what they'll focus on for the year. All right, that is all I have. For the Q&A, I have some starters here. Maybe what's one thing you learned today in this session, or what's one thing you weren't sure about during this session. For anybody who needs further resources, please check out my free grant writer community. And you can also find me at grantwritingmadeeasy.com or KristaKurlinkis.com. Thank you.